So can you please turn on your machines, or it's already on? My server is up. Let me bring my clients up as well. So guys, in last class we were here at local server and our properties of Ethernet card, and now we have this IP address, and we're talking about 169.254.75.177. So what we talked about, who can recap?
It was self-assigned.
Yeah.
It was self-assigned because there was no DHCP server available.
If it's self-assigned, from where it's coming? Hmm? Automatic? Yeah, it's automatic. But what's the source to get this IP? Always there is something, right? Nothing is automatic on this planet. We are saying automation, but we make those things to work automatically, right? We have done something before, and then that happens. As we are saying, get the automatic IP address from the DHCP server. We have configured the DHCP server, and then we make our clients enabled, DHCP enabled, so they can go there and get the IP address. So we have done a bunch of things on the always backend, and then the things work automatically, right? There is no automation otherwise on this planet. So what's behind this address? From where they are getting the machines? A pipa. You know, in our back countries there is a big can we call pipa. So it's a pipa, just we adding one. Is it that? It's coming from there, from pipa. A pipa's source is pipa. Good. So it's 169.254 dot can be anything, right? X dot X, and the subnet mask will be so if it's a 16-bit IP address 255.255.0.0, which class it belongs to? Good. B, class B. It's a class B IP address, right? So always first two digits, you guys will see 169.254 and then something, right? The rest two can be anything, because underneath of that there is 0. So these two octets are available for host IPs, and the first two octets are subnet, showing the subnet. So 169.254.x.x and then 255.255.0.0. In our example, what IP address we have? 169.254.75.177. So if I write down mine one, it's 169.254.75.177 slash, what should I write here? If I want to write in bits,
16.
16. And what the format if we write like this IP address? Prefix. When we use slash and we are writing the bits, then we are writing the subnet mask in the format prefix notation. And we have done, and this one is prefix notation. When we write like this, it's a prefix notation, and before this one is dotted decimal notation. So when we say my machine has gotten the APIPA, it means my machine is DHCP enabled client, right? We have configured our machines on this. Let me go to the properties here. So if it's saying obtain an IP address automatically, obtain DNS server address automatically, if we have configured them on these options, we say it's a DHCP enabled client. So this client will go and get the IP address from DHCP server. But if I'm using this option, use the following IP address and use the following DNS server address, it means we are going to configure the network adapters configurations manually, right? So we are going to configure it manually. We are going to give IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, preferred DNS, and alternate DNS. So all of them we have to configure manually, and most of the times on servers, when we are configuring the servers, we always configure IP address manually. We don't put our servers to get the IP address from DHCP server, because DHCP server leases the IP addresses. It does not give the IP addresses to the clients permanently unless we go for that settings. Usually we don't for servers. And let me bring my server back to some proper IP address, and what we have given them earlier, 192.168, 100.4. So I'm bringing my server back to manual IP address. And if I want to give my default gateway as well, 100.1. So okay, and now my server has these IP addresses. See, it's showing still APIPA, and then it's showing this one, right? Why? APIPA shouldn't be there now, right? So this server has proper IP address. Now it's no, right? The same window was open, so we did not close it, and it was showing two settings. As I close the window and reopen it, then the one setting that is not there now, that doesn't exist, gone. So if I come to my client 01, and let me open the network and sharing center by clicking this icon, internet icon. We always use this to go to open network and sharing center, otherwise we can use control panel to go network and sharing center. And if we want to use control panel, then just right click on this Windows icon, control panel, and then we have network and internet, and then network and sharing center. Can we find somewhere on the top? and then same, right? We are at the same place. So the both way we can access. So if I'm there right now, let me check what I have here now on my LAN. It's 192.168.100.2. So can I make it DHCP enabled client? So properties, what the next step? To go to the properties of IPv4. For that I need to click on this Internet Protocol version 4 and then on properties, then I can access the properties of that network adapter, IPv4 properties, and just I need to do obtain an IP address automatically and it's gone, and obtain DNS server address automatically. So now which address should I have now? It's okay, I closed it, and now I'm saying details. I don't have any IP address, even not 169.254. I don't have a PIPA and I don't have my proper IP address 192. The static I already have moved it to DHCP enabled configuration, and we have talked about this one last class. Why I don't have right now?
Not connected.
Hmm?
Not connected.
It's not connected one.
We don't have a DHCP server available in our network.
But we talked about when my client there is cannot find DHCP server, it assigned itself an IP address, and that is a PIPA, automatic private IP address. So why a PIPA is not there then?
Because you haven't gone out of the window and back in.
Hmm?
You haven't gone out and back in. You haven't given it a chance to assign it.
Okay, let's try. And now we have DHCP server. And the one thing, we don't have DHCP server and it's not finding out, right? And most of the cases, when we turn on our PCs, when we turn on the machine, then if they are DHCP enabled clients, they go and look for DHCP server. And if they cannot find, they assign themselves an IP address. But in this scenario, if I just removed the client, when we turn on, right, then it looks for DHCP server if it's DHCP enabled client. But if I did not restart the machine, then we can assume it's not getting the PIPA even, right? So it's not going to look for the DHCP server. So why it's looking for any other address? But the thing is, it's the machine's capability. As I asked you guys, from where this APIPA is coming, these are operating systems capability. Our machines have this capability, so they have designed them like this. So if they cannot find the DHCP server, please assign yourself this IP address. Otherwise, machine doesn't know, right? We have to do something, and for us, these things have been done by the vendors, right? The operating systems vendors, they have done that, so they have built the operating system like that. If machine is DHCP enabled client and cannot find the DHCP, so machine will assign an IP address to itself, and that will be a PIPA, and this will be the range. And now, because it's a local area network, if you guys will see, it's a private IP, a PIPA, automatic private IP address. So it's creating itself a LAN. So if all the machines cannot find any DHCP server, and they will assign themselves an IP address, a PIPA, how this machine knows the address 193.113 already get assigned to the other machine? Again, it's a system's capability. They have configured like this, where before assigning itself an IP address, they look on their own LAN. So all the machines who are getting 169 to 54, they are on same LAN now, same network. So they are checking their network, either other machine have this IP address or not. If no other machine has the IP address on the same network, they assign that IP address to itself. Then second thing, if we are not restarting the machine and our machine needs an IP address from the DHCP, if when it's a DHCP enabled client, after every 5 minutes it looks for DHCP server in the environment. If it's on a pipa, even then it's keep looking for DHCP server after every 5 minutes. So as long as it will find any DHCP server on the network, it will get the IP address. It will send a request. It will discover the DHCP server, and then the process will be going on. So a pipa is there, and what is DHCP server now? So dynamic host configuration protocol. We can make any server a DHCP server, right? We need to just install a role on top of the server, and then that will be the DHCP. On which type of devices we can install DHCP? Must be server.
Or something between the server.
Hmm?
Like a PC acting as a server, but it has to be a server.
See, if we have pure Windows environment, then we might need to go with the DHCP server. We have to install the role on server. We will be configuring DHCP server, DHCP on our any of the server. But the thing is, we can make our router a DHCP, right? Yeah, we can configure our router as a DHCP server. We can use any Linux machine as an DHCP server. So if it's non-Windows environment, it means there will be no DHCP. DHCP, we need DHCP in our environments. Otherwise, if we have thousands of clients in our corporate environment, in corporate environment, are we going to assign the thousands of the clients manual IP addresses? We cannot. So we need DHCP server, and if that environment is non-window environment, even then they need a address. So they will go on, they can go online and get the IP address from the DHCP server. So we can install this role on any server, or we can make our router a DHCP server. We can install anywhere, right? The any device we can install DHCP server. It can be a Linux one as well, right? So what we do in DHCP server, what the DHCP role is, to assign the IP address automatically, right? As we have discussed earlier. And then what we have done the configuration on our server side. If we come back to our client machine, what the fields we require to fill in. So see, we need to assign IP address, we need to assign subnet mask, we need to, oh sir, we have another big student now. So one default gateway and DNS server. So it's not only IP address, it's not only subnet mask, right? Subnet mask can identify the subnet on the network, but we are also giving the addresses for DNS server, so it can be more than one. If we have WINs in our environment, we can configure our DHCP server to assign the WINs to the clients as well, right? So all the configuration required by a network adapter, we can make them available on our DHCP server. Our DHCP server is capable enough to assign all of those configurations. So let's discuss those ones. The first thing is address. If we are assigning IP address to a single machine, then we are giving only one IP address. But if we are bringing a DHCP server in our environment, then DHCP server will be assigning thousands of the machines, the IP address to the hundreds of the machines, thousands of the machines. It depends on our environment. Then we have to tell a range of IP addresses to DHCP server. So if DHCP enabled clients is contacting you to get an IP address, please assign an IP address from this range of IP addresses, right? So first thing is range. So in our DHCP server, we say it's a scope. So it's a DHCP scope. DHCP scope is a range of IP addresses, and if the subnet we have decided now, it's 192.168.100, right? 100.0/24. So can we give the range 192.168.100 dot, from where you would like to start? Renato, 101 is okay. So 192.168.100.101 to, what will be the end range? 192.168, then 100.254. You wanna consume all of those IP addresses, right? So let it come with 150. So it will be a range of 50 IP addresses, right? Then we need to tell our DHCP server, okay, if client is contacting you to get an IP address, give them a subnet mask as well, so they can establish a network, right? So what can be the subnet mask? What we have in our network now? Darren, what we have?
Subnet mask, we have,
No.
the first three octets are
255, right?
255, yeah.
Dot 0. It should be 1.
0.
You're not participating in the class.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, sir. You can come here.
Cool, but he's just trying to get somebody's car started.
Your better place is here, right?
No, I'm good here. Thank you very much.
So what else our clients needs to know is default gateway. And what we configured on our server, it's 192.168.100.1. So these are the scope options. In scope, we configure one more thing, and that is a lease period, right? So Abdul Karim, what is lease period? Okay, sir, please. It's very anxious student. No, you are not trouble. Abdul Karim, what is lease? So we cannot assign an IP address to our clients permanently. If we want that, we could choose the option static. We could assign them static IP address, or we can reserve an IP address for them, right? So we want them a smaller period of time, to have the IP address for smaller period of time. So maybe 7 days, maybe 4 days, maybe 15 days. By default it's 8 days, but we can go with our own customized one, right? We can assign an IP address from 1 minute, 1 hour to any time we want. If usually, if you guys are on your McDonald's, on Tim Hortons, you guys go to the Wi-Fi, right? If when you contact with them, they connect with their networks, what you get an IP address from their DHCP server, right? You are going to join their network. You are now on their network. And for how long they decide to lease the IP address to those visitors, to those customers, how long that can be? Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 1 hour, right? Not more than that. If they are going to fix the lease for longer period of time, they can run out of the IP addresses, right? Very soon. So they always give with the smallest option, right? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. So customer is for there for not more than that. And if customer is staying more than 1 hour, 2 hours, they can get renewed the IP address from the DHCP server. So by default, the default period of lease is 8 days. It's not time, it's days. So what else we configure in scope, sir?
DNS.
No, that doesn't
scope?
fall in DNS.
You don't want to put DNS in there, okay?
So scope name.
See, I don't want to enter it.
So this one is the scope. And other than scope, we configure scope in our DHCP server, and scope is a range of IP addresses, subnet mask to identify the network, right? And then default gateway, the scope name, and the lease period. How longer that IP address will stick with that machine. And then the DHCP server will take that IP address back. And then we have options. One thing is scope, and then we have what we have? Options. In options, what we configure? So we are telling our DHCP server, okay, when client is coming to you to get an IP address, please offer these options to that client as well. When you are assigning an IP address to the client, and client is in your contact, please give them these options as well. And what are those options? DNS servers, right? One of them is DNS server. Guys, I guess we put default gateway in our options as well. It shouldn't be there. When we will be configuring, we will double check there, right? Where it's coming, either it's under scope or under the options when will be configuring DHCP server. So DNS server, and then what else? It's a preferred. The first one is preferred DNS. And the second one is alternate. And I'm pretty sure default gateway should be here. Hmm? Not DND. Abdul Kalim, are you sure? Where's DND? Anybody? It's DNS, man. So what else can be in options? Client also needs to know DNS domain or DNS suffix, the better word. So DNS suffix, again suffix spellings are wrong. No, Abdul Karim is silent. So there are a bunch of options we can configure. I will show you guys when we are installing the DHCP server and we are configuring the DHCP server. Because most of them we are not using, only few of them we use, and those few are here. And we can configure Win server as well, so it can get the IP address of Win server, Wins and DNS. Is there any relation in between these two? After DHCP we will discuss DNS and Wins, but any idea, any relation? It's not the answer. You are looking your pages on your pages, and we did not discuss about it so far, so you cannot find in your notes. So mean to say, these things we have to configure each and every client. We have to go to each and every client to configure these things. DHCP gives us a centralized solution. So we are configuring these things at one place, at one device, and now whichever device will join our network, it will get the IP address or get all the configurations from DHCP server. We don't need to configure, right? We don't need to be worried about, okay, this machine is coming to our network now, and okay, be ready to assign the IP address, default gateway, DNS server, Win server, and DNS suffix, domain name, those things, right? We don't need to tell the client. So client is getting automatically from DHCP. So how to configure DHCP? Please open your server. We are already on the server here. So guys, please on your server manager, click on this dashboard, and you guys hopefully already there on dashboard. And then please click on add roles and features. And then add roles and feature wizard opens up. It suggests before you begin, it's an intro page. So just click next. And now we are on installation type page. And we are going to install one of the role. So just click next. Anyone falling behind? Just one sec. Shaikh, are you with us? Umar?
Yeah.
If you will see on the board, you don't need to see anywhere to anyone. So please next. And now we are on server selection page. Server manager has capability to manage more than one servers. We can add more servers here, and then we can install the roles on those servers as well. So right now we have only the native server, but and we are installing on this server. So only one server is there. It's already selected. Select a server from the server pool, and our pool has only one server. So next, and now we are on server roles page. All of these roles can be installed on this server. Active Directory certificate services, Active Directory domain services, remote access, whatever role we will install on this server will be that. It will work accordingly. If we are installing DHCP server role on it, it will be DHCP server. If we are installing DNS server, it will be DNS server. We can install more than one role on this server, and it will perform multiple roles then, right? It will act like a DNS server, DHCP server, domain controller, whatever the role we will install on it. So please select the DHCP, this one, the DHCP server. Just click on this box, and this add roles and features wizard will open up. It asking you will have to install these features so this role can work. So this role has dependency on these features. Ask me when you are, and then click on add features, this button, right? Click on this, and then next. And now we are on features page. What was the features required for this role? We already selected. We requested it to add. We don't need to add any feature here. Just click on next, and now it's a DHCP server. So next, and now it's saying okay, check this box. So restart the destination server automatically if required. Some roles. Are you on this page? Are you on this page? Are you here? Just click next. You have selected DHCP server, yes?
Click on the square,
Renato, can you help him? Got it? So please next, next, and then select this box. So restart the destination server automatically if required. Some of the roles required restart, right, to work. So we are selecting, telling our server, okay, don't ask, don't pop up for restart. If restart is required, restart it. But in production, we do not select this option while installing the roles. We may don't want to bring that server down at that time, right? We might need to restart later. So over there we don't select this one, but right now we are not doing anything on this server. This server is not in production, no loss, so we can select this one. So click yes, and then click on install. So please, if it's saying configuration required, installation succeeded on anti-server 01, click on this one, complete DHCP configuration. This hyperlink in the middle pane, click on this, and now it's saying the following steps will be performed to complete the configuration of the DHCP server on the target computer. Create the following security groups for delegation of DHCP server administrator. So it's creating two groups now, right? One is DHCP administrators, and the second is DHCP users. So we can use these groups to delegate the administrative powers. We can want someone to have full privilege on this DHCP server to create scope, create options, whatever they want to do. then we can add them in DHCP administrators. And if we want them just to have a look on these things and not play much with this server, then we will add any user in DHCP users group. So though these two groups will be created now after the installation of this role. So click on commit. What we are saying, commit. Okay, we agree. Create these two users group and then close. Creating security groups done. Please restart the DHCP server service on the target computer for the security groups to be effective. Just close, close. Is it restarting? Oh no. Why it's not restarting? We asked him. Soika, your server is not obeying you, man. So guys, when we click on that hyperlink configure DHCP server, then we went to the second option. That was the second wizard. The first wizard we completed, we installed the role that doesn't require restart. So we ordered our server, okay, after installing this role, if restart is required, please restart the server. So that server restart was not required by DHCP installation, but configuration is required a restart. And for configuration, we have to restart it ourselves. So please right click on this Windows icon and then come to this restart. Got it? The server here, the server's Windows icon, right click is see on the board. If you will not see on the board, you guys cannot follow. See, this is a Windows icon, right? Start button on your, see, right click on it and then come to the second option, second last option. There is shutdown or sign out, and then it pop up for three options: sign out, shutdown, restart. Choose the third one, restart, and then continue. Click on continue. So please click on this three button icon. So it will send Control or Delete and login screen will be there. So supply the password whatever you guys have configured. Do our DHCP server ready now? Yes. So it should assign the IP addresses.
No, we have to put the ranges in.
Yeah. We just install and created two administrative groups for this DHCP server. But we did not configure this server. We did not create any scope. And if just you guys don't need to open this, but let me show you guys. So it's now is DHCP enabled and it's still getting 169 to 54. If I will close all of things and open it again, still it's 169 because DHCP server don't have any scope, don't have any options configured on it. So he is unable to assign anything to anyone.
It's an empty box.
Yeah. So please come back to anti-server 01 and now click on tools. Click on tools and then The fourth one is DHCP. Click on DHCP. Enlarge this window so we can see what we are doing. Let me know when you are on this screen. We are not. See, Umar, you don't see on the board actually. You see on your own screen. First see on here on board, please. Click on these tools.
He's not there. Are you? I think you're in a client. See the three tabs at the top? Check the one that says MC server. Yeah, MC server. There you go.
So we have these tabs on top. If we are, when I say come to NT server 01, you need to click on NT server 01. When I say come to NT client 01, then click on this tab. NT client 02, the third tab. Yeah, you have only two, NT server 01 and NT server 01. I have seen your NT client 02 is disconnected. Don't bring up. Yeah, that is disconnected one. One client is enough. So NT server 01 and then click on tools and then the fourth option DHCP and click on this to maximize the window. See, now we have DHCP and underneath it showing NT server 01. What does it mean? NT server 01 is a DHCP server now. And there is a pointing arrow. If you will click on it, it will expand what we have inside NT server 01. And then please expand IPv4. And their server options, policies, filters are already there. Just single click on IPv4 and then right click and then select the second option, new scope. Click on new scope and now new scope wizard will open up. Yeah, right click and new scope, second option. And then click next and now name. What name we can give it? You know, we have our locations across the world. Our domain is a corporate firm. So give this the Toronto location name. So this scope will be for Toronto location only. So you guys are board of directors of this company, right? Oh, you don't agree? Okay, man, you are chief executive Abdul Kareem.
I'm CFO.
Okay. You know, the easiest way to get the bigger designations, make your own company, man, and become the CEO. So please next, click on next. And sometimes in description, what we do, we show a range of IP addresses here. Just by saying on scope name, we can see, okay, this scope have these ranges or whatever we want. Any description we want to, recall the things, we can give the description here. But in lab, it's okay. Just click next. And now what we decided, the start range 192.168.100.101 and click on tab and then end IP addresses 192.168.100.150. See now configuration settings tab propagate to DHCP client. What's that? the length. Who is there? So see here we have length 24 bits and subnet mask we have prefix notation here and the dotted decimal notation. So please click on next and then add exclusions and delay. What is exclusions? We can exclude few of the IP addresses from this range to assign static IPs to our machines. Or we can sometimes administrators keep some IPs for rainy season, rainy days. So if we are running out of the IPs, they know we have some cushion available. We have already excluded some of the IP address and they can bring them back. So in 100 we can assign some exclusion just to see. Okay, 192, 168, 100, then 141 and the end IP address 192.168.100.149. So click on add, and when these IPs are here, these IPs are not excluded from this range. DHCP server is not going to assign these IP addresses to the requested clients. One sub 49, 100.149, 192, 168, 100.149. So then, and then there is subnet delay in milliseconds. What is this? We will discuss in server class in detail, but here we have multiple scopes. We have created multiple scopes in DHCP servers. Then we can configure like this. Okay, this scope will respond first. After this much milliseconds, the second scope will respond. The third scope will respond. Usually we don't do with the same server, but if we have DHCP server on multiple servers, and then we play around to keep some servers offline, so in a passive position and some in active. So please click on next and then see we have 8 days by default. It's a lease duration. So if you will bring it 0 days, and we can configure 2 hours. In hours do 2 and minutes 0, right? So after every 2 hours a machine needs a new IP address. So click on next. So yes, I want to configure these options now. See, now configure DHCP options. While our scope wizard is now finished. Now it's giving us option. You want to open the wizard for to configure options or not. If we don't want to configure the options, we can go for no, I will configure these options later. And then see, here we have server options on the left side pane. We can configure options there. But while we are in this window, we will select the first one. Yes, I want to configure these options now. Click on next. And now the options are there. See, router default gateway. Router default gateway comes under options. So 192.168.100.1 and then click add. And then please next. And now the domain name and DNS servers. Hmm? So what the DNS server and what the domain name? So if we have a domain, if we have Active Directory environment, then we will add the domain name here and the clients will know I'm going to be a part of this domain. That machine is not going to join the domain itself, but they will be aware of the domain, which environment. It's not, this network is not a work group, it's a domain group, right? So if we have the domain, then we will add the domain name here, otherwise no. And then the server names mean DNS servers. DNS servers, we don't have any DNS servers right now, but we will promote this server as a DNS server as well, so we can give the IP address of this server. So just please, we don't need to come back again. We can give an IP address here, 192.168.100 dot, what is the IP address of this server? See, it's, and it will not, it should not be resolved. Click on add, validating if DNS server service, the IP address 192.168.100.4 is not a valid DNS address. Do you still want to add it? So as I said, it's not gonna resolve the name because we don't have any DNS server right now in the environment, right? So we cannot. So please click on, you still want to add it, click on yes. Yes, I want to add this IP address. It will be, after some time, it will be a DNS server. But itself, it's not resolving the name. We are forcefully adding this. So please click on, pardon? Dot 4, yeah. 19 DNS server. So it's a DNS server IP address. Right now we don't have DNS server, but we have plan to install DNS role on this server whose IP address is 192.168.100.4. So click on next and then Wins server. What is Wins server? Computers running Windows can use Win servers to convert NetBIOS computer names to IP addresses. What's that?
It's a different version of the DNS server.
It's a legacy. When we had, before DNS, we had Win server. And Wins was responsible to resolve the names. When we have anti-servers and anti-Windows, right? Anti-servers and anti-Windows clients we had before 2000, there were anti. Everything was anti, and at that time we had Wins. Wins were working the same as DNS is working. Let's finish DHCP and then we will come back to this. So we never ever give IP address of Wins here. We don't install Wins in our environments unless we have some anti clients in our environment. Then we go for this option, otherwise no. Just leave everything blank and then click on next. Do you want to activate this scope now? Yes. If I will not activate the scope will be get created, but it's not going to work. Right? It will not be available to clients. So yes, I want to activate the scope now. Go with default and click on next and finish. And now if you guys will see, before there was no scope and now we have scope. In scope we have address pool, and what address pool is 192.168.100.101.150, and then with the red sign on it, red cross on it, 192.168.100.141 to 149. So these are reserved IPs, and the in description IP address is excluded from distribution, and address range for distribution, the first range. Address leases, when we will, any machine will get the IP address, we can see the lease here, those machines. Reservations, we can create any reservation. scope options. Right now we have router. Router means default gateway and DNS server. Okay, come to your client now. Click on the tab for anti client 01. Double click on LAN details, and now we have 169, 254, the same IP address. Which IP address my client machine got? I just crossed network and sharing center, and then I opened this network and sharing center again. Let me show you guys the step, or good to go? Yeah. See, on this Windows icon on my client machine, right click on it, and there are two options: troubleshoot problems and open network and sharing center. Select open network and sharing center. Click on change adapter settings, and then double click on LAN, and then click on details, and we have IP addresses 192.168.100.101, the first available IP in DHCP server. So guys, I did one thing with Soika's computer. He configured the default gateway in DHCP server wrong. How did we corrected that? So let me show you guys. So anti server 01, just you guys don't need to do anything. See over here he put the IP 192.168.100.101 mistakenly, right? So in scope options, if I go right click, configure options, all of those options are available here. I can select any of them. So my default gateway was router. I just select this, click on router, and then remove the IP address, and then again type the IP address and add. So like this, remove, and then I add this IP, type, add, apply, okay. And now if we are doing some these kind of changes and we want our client should get immediately, then we need to issue some commands on client side. If I right click on my Windows icon and open command prompt, what I typed for Soika is IP config /release, and I'm releasing the IP address. I'm leaving that IP address. I'm saying I don't need anymore, right? Then I'm saying okay, IP config /renew. And now it's get renewed, and then I went back and checked the IP address, and it was right one. So that's the way we configure our DHCP server, and our clients gets the IP from DHCP server. You guys may have 15 minutes break. It's 12:05. Come back at 12:25, and then we will start from here. So 20 minutes. 12:25, please.